Hi, everyone. It's Allie Factor from First Church Hudson, and I have a training for you today on the safe place from conscious discipline. Thanks for joining. So let's first start out with what is conscious discipline? Conscious discipline is an adult-first, transformational, trauma-responsive approach to self-regulation, which integrates social-emotional learning, equitable school cultures, theory and application, and research in brain-based discipline practices. Conscious discipline is used globally in over 100 countries by parents, educators, mental health professionals, and more. Conscious discipline can be seen in environments like schools, early childhood settings, and even at home. For over 25 years, conscious discipline has fostered a fundamental shift in thinking, which empowers adults and children to be the change they want to see in the world. Next, let's review the theory of conscious discipline. Conscious discipline's foundation of safety, connection, and problem solving is leading a revolution of the heart as concepts initially applied in the classroom extend to every facet of our lives. Conscious discipline uses a brain state model, which empowers us with the knowledge of brain-body states in ourselves and children. We can use the practical skills we learn to manage our thoughts, feelings, and actions. The goal is to regulate our own bodies and minds as role models for others, typically children or youth, who may experience life from the survival and emotional states, and shape their surroundings to help soothe those states as well. When we are regulated, we become more integrated in our learning and access our problem-solving skills through those executive states. Today, we're just going to break down the survival state as it applies to the safe place. The survival state asks, am I safe? The survival state is exactly what you think it is, your fight or flight response. How do you feel when something has triggered your fight or flight response? Maybe you get angry, maybe you feel anxiety, sweaty palms, shaky body. When a child is triggered into their survival state, the brain's evolutionary skill set will influence the child's behaviors. It's an adult's job to foster safety and safe environments to soothe the survival state within children and youth. We are going to review one way that you can promote a safe place for children to help them regulate their minds and bodies and soothe that survival state. The safe place. The safe place is a designated area where an individual may go to calm their inner state when feeling dysregulated. Think about where your safe place is. Maybe it's your favorite chair at home, your bed. When you're out, it might even be the public restroom. Everyone needs access to a place that they feel safe. It's the centerpiece of self-regulation. As adults, we have our own list of ways we may choose to regulate. However, children and youth may need some guidance with this activity. Conscious discipline breaks down the 5 steps to self-regulation as a guide to calm your mind and body in the safe place. Before we break down the 5 steps to self-regulation, it's important to understand when to use the safe place and when it's effective. Children and youth have less regulated nervous systems and can be triggered by less extreme circumstances, but they can typically get back on track easier than adults. It's important to remember that we need kids to have soothed safety and emotional states to operate in the world from their executive state. When a child is in distress, feeling a big emotion, or participating in unsafe behaviors, those may be examples of times when you may help a child access the safe place. Some children may be quiet about their big emotions, so it's important to know the individuals you work with and note any behaviors that are out of the typical normal behavior. It's important to remember that teaching the use of the safe place is best done before big feelings occur, as the child cannot learn about the safe place if they're not operating from their executive state. So teach about the safe place when the student is at baseline. Children and youth may become more comfortable with the safe place over time and have the choice of accessing this resource all on their own. Let's break down how to use the safe place. There are 5 steps to the self-regulation model within conscious discipline. I am, I calm, I feel, I choose, and I solve. We're going to break down what each of these steps looks like and how you can help guide a child or youth through this using the safe place. I am. The I am step involves the initial upset when the child or youth becomes the emotion. This might sound like, I am angry. As an adult, this is the indicator for a more conscious language shift. During this time, it's important to practice conscious language and use noticing as a tool. Conscious language are words used intentionally and carefully to reflect diverse experiences and prevent harm. The benefits of conscious language are improved self-perception, better mood, and overall well-being, and creating inspiration for others. A power switch is a concept within the use of conscious language which helps adults reclaim their authority by shifting from the passive or make-me language to the assertive language that conveys personal responsibility. This switch helps children learn accountability and fosters a sense of safety and connection rather than engaging in power struggles. If a child is quietly displaying behaviors or is more difficult to reach verbally, using the noticing technique can be extremely helpful. This technique helps a child feel seen without judgment and encourages the child to engage with you. When a child or youth becomes their emotion, it's important that we first stay regulated as we guide them through the 5 steps to self-regulation. Children or youth may ask to use the safe place after some time on their own. However, until then, it's important to show kids exactly when to use the safe place. This may look like maybe the child shouts, I hate it here. I want to go home. I am so angry. The adult might say, you feel angry. Let's go calm down in the safe place. I calm. The I calm step requires active calming, typically by breathing. This step is the initial calm down to help a child start to regulate or regulate enough to keep moving through this process. The 4 breathing techniques from conscious discipline are star breath, drain breath, balloon breath, and pretzel breath. I will show videos to explain how each of these are done. But please note that if a child wishes to participate in any other type of breathing technique, that is highly encouraged, especially if they want to teach you a new one. I feel. Now that the child or youth has begun their self-regulation process, it's time to once again identify the emotion with the visual connection. The I feel step has the child or youth identify their emotion by using an I feel chart or the feeling buddies. This step is important because the child does not become the emotion anymore. It's just a feeling that they're having. I choose. Now that the child or youth is consciously participating and moving through the self-regulation process, it's time to continue the practice of choosing positive and helpful behaviors by choosing an additional calm down activity from a provided choice board or a list of choices. These choices should be something simple and easy, which typically regulate the nervous system. Set a timer for the child to participate in this calming activity for a designated amount of time. It's important that you have all of the materials you need to do these activities right by you in the safe place so that another transition does not have to occur. I solve. When an adult is guiding a child or youth through the 5 steps to self-regulation, the adult must also help through the solving process. It's important to solve the problem that caused the trigger for the hopes that it will not happen again or eliminate this problem in the future. This also helps the child with understanding of how to solve their problems in the future. The time machine is a great way to solve a problem when the problem is an interaction between two individuals. The purpose of the time machine is to provide a way for children to change hurtful interactions with peers or adults into helpful exchanges. Assertive language is essential for the success of the time machine. The time machine walks the individuals through the experience and lets them choose a different action or words for a more helpful or appropriate interaction. The child or youth will first start with their feet off the mat. You will ask the children, "Are you willing to solve the problem so everyone can learn helpful ways?" When they say yes, you can get started. Next, you'll step onto the first footprints and take 1 to 2 star breaths just to regulate that nervous system again. Second, you wish each other well. This looks like putting your hands on your heart and using the person's name to say, "I wish you well." For example, you might say, "Sarah, I wish you well." You'll take a step forward and say, 1, 2, 3, let's do it. So when you're solving the problem directly, the child has to say, "I didn't like it when you fill in the blank. Please fill in the blank." So for example, this might look like or sound like, "I didn't like it when you took my toy. Please ask me first next time." The other child must say, "Okay, I can do that," or agree in some fashion. Together, they will both say, "We solved our problem together." The time machine can be done in front of other students to model how to handle conflict. These are the 2 flowcharts that I've created to walk you through the safe place/self-regulation process. There will be 2 binders within a traveling safe place at First Church that have these flowcharts and all the necessary resources to complete the process. Adults should use the adult flowchart and binder, and youth and children should use the student flowchart and binder. All needed resources to complete those actions found on the I choose portion of the process are found within the traveling safe place and should be put back when done. Thank you so much for your time. I wish you well and happy regulating.